Good old Wario. We all love him for his money-hungry yet charming personality and the WarioWare series of games, but where did he get his start? He was created as the main villain of Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, to give Mario a villain to fight for his own sake instead of the princess's sake. One of the main inspirations of designing him was Bluto, the rival of Popeye, given Mario was inspired by the Sailor Man himself. Wario was such a memorable antagonist and one of Mario's most underrated adventures that in Super Mario Land 3, the development team, for reasons that have not been publicly stated, decided to make Wario the main player character, which not only gave us the last Mario Land game, but started the Wario Land series of games. Despite selling decently and getting reviewed positively, I haven't seen much love for the Wario Land series on the internet compared to other Nintendo franchises, even niche ones like Chibi Robo. There's still coverage of it on here, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it has enough coverage. So welcome to the first part in my Wario Land retrospective, where I'll take a look at all the Wario Land games. Today we'll start by taking a look at Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, or Wario Land 1 as I'll call it for this video. The plot of Wario Land 1 has Wario attempting to find a new castle to take over after the ending of Super Mario Land 2, so he journeys to Kitchen Island to defeat pirates so he can get a stolen statue of Princess Peach to sell back to Mario and friends for the price of a castle. The setup fits Wario's characteristics well, but is ultimately pretty standard, up until the ending where Wario defeats the pirates and gets Peach's statue, but Mario comes back to take the statue after Wario did all that hard work, which is pretty funny. You think Wario's gonna catch his big break, but then Mario just busts in and just says, "Oh, screw you for taking a Mario Land 3 from me." Gameplay-wise, Wario's moveset is quite different from Mario, as while he can still jump on enemies, he's much slower, though he can also do a unique shoulder charge to attack enemies. Wario also has his own unique power-ups, like the Bull Helmet, which enhances Wario's base moves, the Dragon Helmet, which lets Wario's helmet breathe fire, and the Jet Helmet, which lets Wario's charge fly in the air for a bit. These moves are plain old fun to use, however, the level design doesn't always complement them. There's good levels in here, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot of unfair difficulty spikes throughout the game, since the game doesn't properly telegraph hazards to the player, especially in some boss fights where you might lose a couple lives before knowing what the hell to do against them. The collectibles are also poorly handled, since they're not only hidden in weird locations, but you'll need to backtrack to past levels to get them all when the game doesn't tell you any of that. I understand it's a Game Boy game from the 90s, meaning they had an old school mentality of game design, and that's fair, but in modern standards, it doesn't hold up and feels more like a chore to complete compared to something like Mario Land 2. What adds extra frustration to the game is that in order to get the best ending, you'll have to revisit levels to collect treasure and grind for coins, which can get really tedious after a while, and it's honestly not worth the hassle for a fancy picture. Wario Land 1 honestly frustrated me more than I'd like to admit with its jumpy difficulty curve. Honestly, it's one of those games summed up best by first game syndrome, where the developers tried to see what worked and did it for the first installment before improving the formula for later games, which leaves the first game being weaker than the rest when put all together, and that can sum up Wario Land 1 pretty well. It's not a bad game and definitely has its fans, but I don't think it's aged well. Though something that has aged surprisingly well in Wario Land 1 are the visuals. Yeah, they're in black and white, but those sprites still pack a lot of detail and personality that the Wario Land series would expand on. And I think that's the best way to view this game nowadays, as a solid foundation for future Wario Lands to be expanded on. I don't think you should play Wario Land 1, but I do think we should respect it for starting this pretty cool series. That's it for part 1 of the Wario Land retrospective, so I hope you enjoyed the show, make sure to tip your waiters, and I'll see you in the next one.